Hello guys, Dan here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's short video, I will show you how to paint this Domaru Butai for the JSA army. In this video, I will show you some very simple tricks how to do like a better worn armor and some stippling techniques on those leg plates. So without further ado, sit back, relax and enjoy the video. I primed the models with the Wraithbone spray because I will use a lot of contrast paints in this project. So the thing is that you need to aim to achieve is to have the even coat all around the model. So the first paint I will use today will be Apothecary white contrast paint. And I will go and paint all the panels that I want to be white. The trick with this color, it separates a lot if you left it to stand even after one night. So you need to shake this color really well before you start using it. And the other thing is I will apply this straight from the bottle, and I will apply it in one very thick coat. So I will apply the color and wait for it to go inside the recesses and settle down by itself. Next color that I'm going to use will be a black Templar contrast, and this color will be used to paint all this chain under armor, and on the other model I will use it to paint the weapon. On the weapon I will apply two very thick coats, while on the rest of the armors I will apply only one thick coat. The reason behind that is that I want the weapon to be much darker than the rest of the armor, because on the armor I need to do little highlights, and this contrast color will help me to that. For the leg guards, I will use Militarum green, and I will apply this paint in one very thick coat. So just be careful now, because you will have white contrast and black contrast all around. So if it's still wet, just be careful not to mix those colors. For the hilt of the swords, I will use Gore-Grunta Fur, and this will be applied in one very thick coat. For all the red details, I will use Flash Tirer's Red, and same as before, I will apply this paint straight from the pot. You need to be extremely careful now when you are painting with this color to try not to go over the other details. But in the case that you make any mistakes, just pick up the Wraithbone color again and then repaint the mistake with the Wraithbone, and then do all the things all over again. The last detail that we need to block before starting highlights will be to paint the sword. I choose to use a Shyish purple because I want just a purple tone on the sword, but this is up to you and up to your liking, depends which tone of color you want to use for the swords. After all the contrast paints are properly dried, for my case it took like a good half an hour. I left them sometimes even more, like 45 minutes, so everything settled down properly. And now I will start highlighting the model. First, I will start highlighting all the black details. I will pick up pure white and I will go around the model. So on the weapon, you will use the side of your brush and do the edge highlights. When it comes to the armor panels, you will do a very light dry brush of these little cells that they have on the arms. On the other armor panels on the legs, you will just do a very thin panel lining just on the edges. Now we will start working on the white armor panels. The thing is now, because we use the contrast paint, they turn a little bluish, so I will use Ulthuan Grey, and I will go and repaint 90% of the area of these armor panels with Ulthuan Grey, but I won't go inside the recesses or inside the shadows with this paint. I will just leave everything as it is. And to finalize the highlights on these armor panels, I will use pure white again, and I will just go around the model and highlight all the edges with it. So wherever it's possible on the armor, just use the side of the brush and draw a little line. Wherever it's not possible, try to use the tip of your brush and just highlight those edges. I don't think you can see that really well here on the camera because of the white balance and the contrast, but in the real life the difference will be very noticeable, so you could really see highlights. For the red armor panels, I will use Evil Sun Scarlet, and I will repaint same as in the case of the white. I will just repaint like 90% of the area that was previously painted with the contrast paint, just to remove the stains. And then I won't touch any recesses or the shadows, I will just leave everything dark. And to add the final touch to the highlight of the red, I will use Orange Fire, and I will apply this only as an edge highlight, so I won't touch any flat surfaces of these armor panels. I will just go around the edges and draw very thin lines. In any case, if you draw a thick line that you're not happy with it, just go back to Evil Sun Scarlet and just correct it. For these green laggards, I will mix medium flesh tone with the camouflage green, just 70-30 mix, very light to have a light tone. And then I will take some very old brush and I will just stipple the paint like from the top. Try not to stipple inside the recesses, but just go around the flat panels and just smack your brush from the top. This will create like a damaged effect on these panels, and as well like if you stipple more at one area, it will start creating a highlight. So it's very easy and very nice technique to have like some really cool effect. Now I need to finish the sword, so first I will go back to white and I will edge highlight all the edges on this sword. And then I will pick up Magenta Fluo. This color is already like very diluted, so I will just glaze it on the both sides of the sword very lightly, and if I see any pooling, I will collect excess of the paint with my brush. I just want this as a very light tone, just to go over the white. The next thing is to do all these white markings on these armor panels. So I used the same white as I used in the previous steps. Just added like maybe one more drop of water so it flows better from my brush, and then I was just lightly first sketching it up and then go over it like in a couple of times. I repeated the same step to have a good coverage of this paint. If you're not sure or confident, you can try this couple of times on a piece of paper or on some old model, and the trick here is to have both of your hands still and steady. And to achieve that, I usually put both of my elbows on the table, and then I try to make some kind of support under my hand. I usually put like some big like pot of some paint or something just to support my hand so they don't shake, and just draw these details. For these circular ones that they have on the leg guards, I practiced this couple of times on a piece of paper. As you can see, they're not perfect, but like from the distance, like they look alike. And for the next step, just take this little sponge that come in the blister with all these models, just pick a little part, and I will use a snakebite letter. I will just soak little of this paint on my sponge. You don't need too much of this paint, just a little. Remove the excess on some paper towel and just go around the model like very lightly and just touch it on a couple of places. So this will start creating the damaged armor effect. You can change the amount of paint that you're putting on the sponge. It will create different effects, like lighter damage and heavier damage. It requires little practice, so maybe try on the one model before you start doing it on your main model, but after you do this method correctly, you will have some really nice effects. And the last detail that we need to do is to highlight these LEDs on the jetpack. So I will use the Escropena green and just draw little dots as my highlight there. And that will be it. This model is done. As you can see, these techniques are very simple and very quick to achieve, and the effects are quite decent. This model will look beautiful on the table. And guys, I wanna say thank you one more time for all the supports and the views that I get from you. And if you can, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content for me. And of course, if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave it in the section down below and I will do my best to reply. So this is all for now from me. So until next video, stay safe, take care, and bye bye.